Hello, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh. Welcome back to another episode of Dead Men Streaming, and it is time for the weekly challenges for the week of November 11th through November 18th for Fallout 76. Couple of things of note really fast. First of all, I'm late. Listen, I'm sorry. November, October, two of my busiest months. I run a fundraising organization. We dress up in cosplay. October swamp for us. And November, honestly, this is when we're doing our last ditch effort to raise funds for food pantries in the Mid Ohio Valley, here in West Virginia. Real world West Virginia at that. And I'm busy. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to do this. I also want to say, stick around till the very end of this video for some opinion on a couple of things going on in the Fallout world lately, and take a look at a not new weapon, but a difference of a weapon. But let's go ahead and talk about the daily and weekly challenges. Now, you'll have to forgive me because I do have a few of these already done. Why? Because I logged on for this video, I got halfway through it, and then Eviction Notice spawned. And Eviction Notice is my favorite event to solo in all of 76, so I did. Oh, that being said, it also completed 3 of my targets. So let's talk about it. All right, the weekly challenges. As always, keep in mind, these may change in the future. Where I tell you to go may not be where you can find these later on. However, for right now, they work. Collect a teapot. Your easiest place to go get this and to pick up some of the scorch you need for this week is to run up to the Palace of the Winding Path. I'd like to tell you there's one specific spot in here, but you have to pick up 5, so just run through all of the major building, and you'll find 5 teapots fairly quickly. I think it should take you less than 5 minutes to pick them up in the building. Barring that, you can always hop down to the giant teapot. Pick up a few down there, but Palace is going to be your best spot. Teapot secondary. The only snag is that teapots are, of course, well, these 2 areas are, of course, open world. They're not instant. Somebody else may beat you to them. Try it a couple of different times. That's all I can really provide for you in terms of that. You can also pick up some at one of my favorite locations in all of 76, and that is Rapidan Camp. Rapidan Camp in Skyline Valley. Go into the Brown House in Rapidan Camp and take a peek around. You'll find teapots. There's like so much good stuff in there. Sugar and salt and burnt books and scrap, and just, I love it. I love going down there. It's my favorite place to pick up stuff in 76, and I'm not kidding. Moving on from that. Complete an event while wearing a costume. All right. I haven't tested this fully, but in the past, if you are a power armor user like me, all you have to do is wear something that says costume on it. But I did test, and you actually don't get credit if you're wearing a costume hat. So I'm assuming it only applies if you're wearing a full costume. I do not know for certain that that'll work this time, but that is my presumption. Of course, if you wear a costume and you're in power armor and you don't get credit, well, that tells you what you have to do. All right, now what classifies as a costume? Because this comes up on a regular basis. Let me go to the right menu. Go over to item, drop down to apparel, and then start examining your items. Now on PC, that's X for inspect. So Halloween costume skeleton, obviously, is a costume. And it'll say so down here at the bottom. Padded blue jacket, clothing apparel item, is not a costume. Pirate costume is a costume. The t-shirts and slacks, not a costume. The ranger armor outfit is not a costume. However, the White Spring jumpsuit, for whatever reason, is listed as a costume. So it's a variety of different things. Now, what you need to do is put these on before you're in power armor, and then just wear them under your armor. Nobody's going to see them, so it really doesn't matter what you put on. Unless, of course, you aren't playing as a power armor user. If you happen to have a rifle or something else like that, that you're better off being in standard armor for, in which case, yeah, put on your costume, have fun. All right. Buttons. Buttons are important. I've only been playing this game for years. I think I'd know by now. All right, craft fish bits. Well, you have to go fishing. Good luck. Drink purified water. In order to get purified water, you either have to complete events, buy it from vendors, or have a purified water generator at your camper workshop. I This is one that I'm not going to rush through, so just harvest purified water as you find it, then chug it. All right, canines, mirelurks, and scorched. You need 30 of each. Wow, that's not a small amount. And while we do that, I'm gonna. Let's see, I can't port and talk. All right, so scorched. Fissure sites are the places I go for the most of them. I sort of keep my eyes open for daily ops just in case I'm low, behind, or bored. Because if you can catch Scorch at a daily ops, well, hey, that'll be 30 for you. Otherwise, drop a nuke if you are so inclined. Easily pick up around 30-ish or so doing Scorch Beast Queen. Otherwise, fissure sites are your friends. You'll pick up more Scorched at the Palace of the Winding Path. You'll pick up Scorched at Wavy Willards. You can pick up a decent number of Scorched at, let's see, you can pick up a handful there. You can pick up a bunch just by running through Pleasant Valley Ski Resort. Bolton Greens has quite a few. I always include the Ranger District Office whenever I'm running through, but basically, you guys should know where Scorched are by this point. They're the main enemy of the game. Camden Park has a bunch of them as well. Moving on from Scorched, 30 Mirelurks. Now, this one's a little bit more annoying because you can usually only find them in packs of 5 or 6 at any given location. Having said that, you can pick up a few down by Ohio River Adventures. You can find some down around Lake Reynolds, just south of the Lewisburg station. I always pick up a bunch at Quarry X3 and Sunrise Field. As a bonus, doing Sunrise Field also gives you cranberries, which you can turn into cranberry cobbler or cranberry relish for bonus EXP. Another decent place to pick up Mirelurks would be, let's see, I believe it's the Highland Marsh has quite a few. I think you can find some in this pond over here, but don't hold me to that. You can find some chilling around this lake bed over here. Now, the thing of this, you can also pick up some, usually during Dogwood die-off, when it sends you to the various farms. Sometimes they'll spawn up attacking places like Becker Farm or Smith Farm or wherever. Obviously, Swarm of Suitors is going to be your big one to pick up the bulk of your Mirelurks from. You can also, or excuse me, event-wise, Swarm of Suitors down around here when it pops up as a public event. And then Heart of the Swamp, when it pops up over here, is another outstandingly great place to pick up a bunch of Mirelurks. So you just gotta, you'll probably pick them up 5, 6 at a time. And of course, any Mirelurk Horde events you see, Scorched Hordes, or coming up next, Dog or Wolf Hordes. Now, kill 30 K9. I don't like this one because a lot of times canines don't have the most reliable spawn points. There are a few places you can go to pick them up. First of all, you're killing dogs, and I'm not down for that. I'm a cat person, but even I ain't down for that. Having said all of that, Aaronhold Homestead has a bunch of dogs you can deal with. Keep your eyes open for Leader of the Pack, which is a regular event that spawns up around Tyler County Fairgrounds. You can find some as you walk between the Wayward and... Is it Wayward and Greene County? Lodge? Yeah, Wayward and Flatwoods, I believe. You can find a bunch on a path leading down from there. Another decent location to pick some up is going to be over at Sylvie and Sons Logging Camp. This is east of Sons of Dane, south of Hopewell Cave, east of Relay Tower, LWB 122. You can pick up about 4, maybe 5 there. On occasion, you can find them down at Makeout Point and at a number of different live events, public events that are scattered throughout the wasteland. Having said that, there is one really good location to pick up, a handful, 2 locations. You can also pick them up outside of Crimson Prospect because Blood Eagles have attack dogs around their base over here. They also have attack dogs at most of the Blood Eagle camps as well, just as a note. But if you want the most, there's one place to go, and that is West Tech Research Center. Um, Fry 'em. It's mutant hounds. There are a bunch inside West Tech itself. Of course, you'll also pick up a ton of EXP, a ton of loot from flattening all the super mutants that hang around there. But those super mutant hounds, they do count as canines. You can pick up, what, three or four on the outside, front and back, and then I feel like there's close to 10 on any given clear through West Tech Resource Center. So if you want to grind that one up quickly, I would just do 20-ish minutes through West Tech, and that should be enough to solve your problem there. Having said that, if there were any challenges I was going to re-roll this week, it'll probably be that one. All right, craft any plushie at a Tinkerer's Bench. Just go to a Tinkerer's Bench, go down to the very bottom to souvenirs, and craft three plushies. But what do you do with plushies after you craft them? Very little. Very little is the answer. Once you make them, you can put them on a display shelf, but you can also do that now by just going into your camp and selecting free place and building one out of your camp. So I'm not sure why those are still a thing on Tinkerer's benches, but I don't know. Finally, take a picture of a Grafton Monster. All right, Grafton Monster is that big oil chucking monstrosity without a head that hangs around at a few events in the area. So let's start with where he is a boss, and that's going to be Heart of the Swamp. Pops up around here. He or the Mirelurk Queen will be the boss of that event when it pops up over here in the mire. You can also find him as a potential boss at the public event that occurs at Arctos Pharma, the name of which still absolutely evades me because I know it, I do it, I can solo it, but I can't remember it. But he is one of the two, maybe three bosses that can spawn in Arctos Pharma at the end of that event. But what do you do if those events aren't in circulation? And I have no idea if they are. Well, come over to Hemlock Holes Maintenance and go east. In this area up here, you can have a chance at finding the Grafton Monster up here somewhere, wandering around looking lost and dazed and confused. Another good location is down in Charleston Station, in this particular area, to the east of Poseidon Energy. It does hang out in this canal between Charleston Trading Yard, Poseidon Energy. So it's a decent enough spot to pop over to. Having said that, that brings us over to the daily challenges because one of your challenges is to kill a cryptid. And Grafton Monster is a cryptid. So go find it, take a photo of it, and flatten it, and there you go. Somebody else has already flattened it, and all you stumble across is his corpse. There are some other great places to find cryptids, and that are really reliable. So let's talk about them. Over here at Toxic Larry's Meet and Go, the flooded train yard down outside of Watoga, and the kitty corner cabins up around uh, Toxic Valley. So just next to the Toxic Dry Lake bed. All right, and what cryptids am I suggesting you go find? Snallygasters. Snallygasters, I think, are the most common cryptid in all of Fallout 76. You can find them at those locations and more, and they do count as cryptids. So go any of those locations, you can always find a bunch. There's three at Toxic Larry's. Right as soon as you port in, there's a handful around Kitty Corner. There's almost 10 down by the flooded train yard. So plenty of options to pick from for those. All right. Collector scrap coal. I don't like this one. It's so inherently annoying. Your best bet, if you intend to do that one and you don't intend to scrap it, is to run over to Gully Mine in the forest, and that is located over here. Gully Mine. All right. So if you haven't unlocked this one yet, look southeast of Vault 76. Look directly south of the Gorge Junkyard. Look directly north of Sutton Station. Look northeast of Slocum's Joe. You will find a bunch of coal veins inside Gully Mine. Just harvest them. It takes a decent amount of time. and other players may beat you to it. So to me, that one's really not worth it. Other places you can collect are just scattered all through the ash heap, but who really wants to spend the time of just wandering through Kentucky picking up pieces of coal off the ground? I don't. And I know this technically isn't Kentucky, but it's close enough to Kentucky. Kentucky is technically over here, but yeah, it's it is what it is. It feels like Kentucky, and if you've been to Northeast Kentucky, you know what I mean. All right, kill an enemy in the forest region. Well, as it turns out, that's where Gully Mine is, and that will probably count as you go through it. So maybe those two are worth it. Complete an event while wearing a costume. We already had this discussion. Kill a cryptid. We've had this discussion. Collect soap. Several different locations you can do it. I just picked up mine off of Eviction Notice and all the super mutants, so that's an option. You can also find soap down in the White Spring Resort, specifically uh, White Spring North entrance. Go down to the White Spring Mall. You can stumble around in there and you will find the spa, and the spa actually has quite a bit of soap in it. Or if you need a lot of soap, as always, I'm going to tell you where to go for this. Go to Camp McClintock. Look towards the gorge. Find the two radio towers that are over here, or transmission towers. Under one of them, and you'll see them from a distance, there's no question of it. Follow the train tracks from Sutton if you must. Under one of these two, you will find a bathtub with a skeleton and a pile of soap. And if you know, ew. And if you don't know, don't research how soap is made. Collect caps. Well, I just picked this up looting corpses. You can pick it up selling stuff to vendors, completing events, whatever else. Collect Rat Away or Rat X. Again, I got it from completing an event. You can pick it up from medicine machines that you can find at any of the rail stations. And that's the daily and weekly challenges. Now, I did say there was some bonus material this week, and there is. For the next 2 weeks, we are in the Fallout 76 anniversary. And what they're doing for this is every day they are changing what special event is going to happen at the top of the hour, which is pretty cool, especially if there's plans or anything you missed, or just an event that you like to do a lot. For example, starting noon on Tuesday and ending noon on Wednesday, so probably after you see this video, the Mothman Festival will be at Point Pleasant. And then later, we should have other events like Invaders from Beyond, or Mischief Night, or probably Meat Week, or a bunch of the things that spawn on a seasonal basis will all be spawning in on different days every day for the next 2 weeks. So it's just going to be some weird stuff to do. Weird, abnormal, out of the usual, and a great way to pick up any remaining plans you missed. Having said that, speaking of picking up any remaining plans that you missed, a lot of people are angry about this, but the upcoming change to the Gleaming Depths is upcoming sooner rather than later. If you are missing plans, if you do not like the full raid itself, and you're able to farm the Guardian, don't forget you've only got a couple of weeks left to pick up the things you're after. Myself, I've got everything that I'm comfortable needing, and I'm looking forward to people actually doing the whole raid again just because they're forced to. Because I like I miss killing the snake. Having said all that, if you don't, there you go. Don't forget your reminder. And finally, because I am not done yet, let me take a look over here at my weapons really quick. So, I've long said that my favorite go to weapon is this. Now, people have argued with me over this because they don't like the fact that I have armor penetration on it. But this is a Holy Fire. And with this, it's got armor penetration, weapon speed, reload speed, and bonus attack speed below durability. I've also got Pyromaniacs on it. Now, take a look at this. Damage 130, 485 over 9 seconds. Capacity 200, and range of 93. Now, this has been my go-to weapon for 2 years since it came out. It gets the job done in every single situation with the exception of things that require long range or melee weapons. So if it's resilient, obviously I'm flipping to a chainsaw. If it requires long range, like if I'm trying to bring down a Scorch Beast, I switch to a Gauss minigun or Gatling plasma or a couple of other for fun weapons. But 9 times out of 10, this is the weapon that I've been using. But again, note 130, 485, and 93. Some information came out. Somebody was doing some testing on other types of flamers. I'm not sure how they came with this. So, and I saw a few different people talking about this. Hot rod, pink maximum capacity napalmer. Now, this is a short flamer modified extensively. You can't modify the holy fire. That's where problem number one is. You can't add anything much more to it than pyromaniacs. So the damage gets a boost pretty significantly. It goes from 130 to 185. The damage over time, I think, drops just a hair. The range craters. Now, I really don't like this crater range because it does make it harder to kill things. Um, what I call time to kill is usually just it's not, it's a variant of DPS. It's how long does it take to actually kill a creature. Range sometimes makes effect of that. If you have to walk an extra 10 feet to hit something, well, kind of, it's not killing as fast as a weapon. You don't have to go that far for it. But to me, that makes sense. But also, higher damage, higher DPS, higher damage over time, all matter. Um, but the thing is, 5% damage per onslaught stacks plus 9 max stacks. It means you're cracking out at least an extra 45% damage, which is a boost. You are getting an extra 25% weapon speed, which isn't as much as I have on the other weapon, and slightly faster reload speed, and pyromaniacs. The big difference is the vaporization nozzle, which the Holy Fire itself doesn't have. I've been using this newer version the last couple of weeks, and honestly, it does seem to kill things a little bit faster at the sacrifice of decent range. If you are someone who is heavily into min maxing, maybe that's going to be a better choice for you. For me, it could really go either way. Um, I'm not going to tell you which one to use. I'm using the Napalmer right now. I may take a look and change anti armor to Furious on the Holy Fire later myself because I can do that. Um, so you can change the legendary effects, but you can't change the base weapon effects. So that's something to keep in mind if you are a Flamer user. All that being said, I use a lot of things. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh. Thank you for tuning in. I did mention that this is my fundraising season and we're wrapping up, so I'm just going to ask this. If you enjoy what I do, if you enjoy these videos, and you would like to help me raise funds to support food pantries in and around Parkersburg, West Virginia, the one major metro city that Fallout 76 didn't include on the map, Bethesda. Really? Really? You had the Blennerhassett Island. You had DuPont, for crying out loud. So much you could have done. Um, just like we're right up here, guys. Like we're right, like what WV Lumber Company is just right. Anyways, um, excuse me. Sorry. I raise money for the area that is right up over here. We dress up in cosplay. We do fairs, festivals, events, online streaming, and things of that nature. And we take what we earn and we use it to buy food for food pantries over here. Uh, Winter is our biggest food drive, and we wrap it up on December the 2nd this year for a planned delivery on December the 6th. So if you've enjoyed these videos and you'd like to help out with that, link for Creative Cosplay the Mid Ohio Valley is in chat. So just got to throw that out there because it's the most busiest time of my year. And I promise to never sing on stream again. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh. Thank you for tuning in. Hope this video helped, and I will see you all again next week. I may actually see you earlier than that because Skylines, a City of Skylines 2 released their most recent DLC, Bridges and Ports, and the bridges are great if you don't plan on using them, and the ports are pretty cool. So I might be doing a video on that soon because I have opinions. But till then, see you soon.